Okay, this is the comparing rational numbers homework. Take a look at number 1. It says compare negative 2.8, negative 2 1/8, using less than or greater than. So before we can compare them, we have to get them in the same form. So we told you the easiest way to do that is to change a fraction into a decimal. So this one's already a decimal, so I'm just going to rewrite that, negative 2.8. But this one, I know it's negative 2 point something, but I need to know what 1/8 is as a fraction. So I need to do 1 divided by 8. Some of you may have this memorized already. 3 goes. So that is 0.125. Okay, so now we need to put an inequality sign in here. So the first two numbers are the same, so now I'm going to go to the second number. This one has an 8 and this one has a 1. Well, I know 8's bigger than 1, so I know I'm going to draw a number line too to kind of show you this on the number line. So here's 0. If this is negative 1 and this is negative 2, think about, we would need to go out to negative 3. Think about where those would fall on a number line. So negative 2.1 would be right about here, negative 2.125. Now negative 2.8 is closer to negative 3, so that's going to be about right here. So remember, the farther you go to the left, the smaller the numbers get. And the farther you go to the right, the bigger they get. So because these numbers are negative, this one is actually closer to the bigger numbers. So our inequality sign would look like that. All right, take a look at the second one. It says, during a very cold weekend in January, the temperature at sunrise on Saturday was negative 3.2 degrees Celsius. The temperature at sunrise on Sunday was negative 2.7 degrees Celsius. Compare the temperatures at sunrise on both days. All right, so my first temperature is negative 3.2 degrees, and the second temperature was negative 2.7. So I want you to think again about that number line that we drew up on top. If this was negative 2 and this was negative 3, think where those would fall. Well, negative 2.7 would probably be about right here, negative 2.7, and negative 3.2 would fall about right there. Here's 0. So remember, the numbers furthest to the left are the smallest. So since this one is furthest to the left and it's negative, we're going to draw our inequality sign this way. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 3, the table shows the possible elevations expressed as rational numbers relative to sea level of an eel and an anglerfish. Compare the absolute values of their elevations for the eel and the anglerfish using greater than or less than. So we're kind of thinking of water here. And make sure I would really underline, circle. We're talking about the absolute value, okay? Now the eel, here's the eel. It's about 1.19 kilometers below sea level. And the fish is even further down. That's 2.05 kilometers, because remember, it's like we're finding their absolute value or the distance from the surface of the water. So this one's 1.19 kilometers under. An eel's sort of like a snake. I'm trying to draw a snake there. And here's your fish. So if we compare that absolute value of negative 1.19 and the absolute value of negative 2.05, you can tell that the fish is underwater more. So this one's got a greater value. It's further underwater. All right. Now down on the bottom, there's some number lines. And kind of like we were drawing number lines as we were doing questions 1 and 2, they want you to choose which numbers are in the correct order. Did they place -1, -1 3/5, 1.8 and 3.8 correctly on the number lines? So this should be something easy for you guys to do. Make sure you check all the number lines. I'll show you how I would check the first one. So here's 0. If I move to the right, my numbers are getting bigger. 1, yeah, 1.8 falls between 1 and 2, so that would be correct. 3.8 falls between 3 and 4, that would be correct. So then I'd go the other way. Well, -1 has a dot right here, but that -1 should be right here. So this isn't numbered or labeled correctly, so I would mark that one off. That one can't be the right answer. So go through each number line and check that. Okay, on the back, it's very similar. Number 5 says the table shows the elevation in kilometers of 4 different fish. Order the fish swimming from the greatest to the least depth. So which one is furthest underwater and which one is closest to the surface? So I would kind of draw that picture again. Here's my water level. Fish F, if I go down, let's see, this is 0. Let's say this is -1, and this is -2. Fish F would be probably about right here, almost to -2. Fish I is going to be under -2 because it's -2 1/5. Fish S, well, -3/4 would be about right there. And H, -1/5 is like 0.2. So it'd be -0.2, which would be about right here. Okay, so we want to go from the greatest depth to the least depth. So fish I would definitely be the furthest down. So if we order, it says order the fish. So I'm going to use their letter. Hopefully that's what Miss Flood would like. Fish I would go first because that's the lowest. Then F, then S, and then H has the shortest depth. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing for number 6. This time we're talking about 4 submarines are exploring the undersea trench. The depth of each submarine is shown. All right, so we've got 4 different submarines and what their depth is. So again, I would draw the water and I would draw a number line here and I would say -1, -2, -3, and put those on the number line. Okay, do the same thing and then you're gonna put them in order on the number line.